And what we'll do is we'll open up for question and answers. We got some time, right?
You have about 20 to 25 minutes.
Yeah, nice.
I think you have a group of selected student leaders here, and obviously I'm communicating a very specific view of leadership and a role I think we can all play in how we treat each other, and thinking about how you treat other people, I think, is part of leadership. So again, I want to thank you, and we definitely open this up for questions for our guests.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Well, I'll be first.
Yeah.
As a parent, have you told your children your life story? Obviously, you have a 5-year-old, so that's, you know, a little
Yeah.
iffy. Do you see your daughter? Have you told her about
Yeah,
your life?
yeah. My daughter's been interviewed for the book, and she knows. And what's good is that she keeps saying that she's heard bits and pieces, because the town that she lives in is kind of where I cause a lot of fucking ruckus. So she's heard bits and pieces, and she's heard that Daddy was not really a nice guy for a long time, and I think her view of me is so different. And she said that once the book comes out is when she'll be ready to know the full truth. But anytime she would ever call me, and if she ever had any questions, I would, you know, if I'll tell her a room full of strangers my story, I would definitely tell my kids, because part of being a dad is you teach your kids by what mistakes you've learned how to do that, you know. So yeah, I definitely would tell my 12-year-old. He's real, very real deep kid, and very smart kid, kind of gifted in a way. So he's heard bits and pieces too, and you know, same thing. He knows that he can ask me anytime. He knows that I was in a gang of some sorts. You know, it's funny we talk about that. Is if you took the stereotype of a black male in America, the stereotype, you know, in a gang, in prison, babies' moms, you know, growing up poor, welfare, all that stuff, I destroy that stereotype, because that's fucking me. I mean, I got babies' moms everywhere. I got, you know, been incarcerated. I fit that mold of that stereotype. So I mean, that would be a great way when I talk to my kids. Like, when you stereotype, you're actually looking at me for that. You know, but both my kids are, even my son, my 5-year-old, are really good at it. I remember my son, my 12-year-old. He was at school for the longest time, and he kept coming home and talking about his friend at school. And sometimes he would talk about how his friend didn't understand English, and he was from like Guatemala or something, and he had one arm, or he had like this deformed arm, and never, not once, did my 4-year-old kid ever tell us that. Like, he just always talked about his friend, you know. So it was kind of good. And then my 5-year-old, now he goes to school, and a substitute came in. You know, he's in kindergarten, so the teacher's talking to one of his friends, and he's not getting it. And my son stands up in front of him and goes, "Teacher, he's not going to understand you. He only talks Boston." And he was meant to say Boston. He doesn't know that, you know. So he just talks Boston, so he'll never understand what you're saying. Like, and it's like his best friend at school, you know. And my son teaches him English all the time. Like, this is hockey and football and, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, I think it's the way me and my wife have raised him. So, any other questions? You can ask me anything you want.
Something, I guess maybe this is an earlier point you made, but I've been reading on the news recently that, you know, since these past few years, no ball maybe, but they're saying more is like a government thing, like the movement has been growing again. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, the militia is going to grow. I mean, it's always going to grow when the government needs a little bit more left. I mean, it's just what happens. You know, it doesn't mean it's going to be another Oklahoma City bombing. I don't see it. I don't. You know, I don't think so. But it's always going to be an anti-government, no matter, you know. Even when Bush was in there, he wasn't right enough for them, which is pretty fucking crazy. You know, he wasn't right enough for them. And of course now all the things that the militias weren't saying actually when Bush was in, they're going to say more now. They're going to talk about the corruption of our politicians and stuff. And I'm big on that subject too. I'll talk about it real quick, but I'm very anti-lobbyist. I think that's the biggest corruption ever. We have the greatest government in the world, so I'm not anti-government, but I think the lobbyist system is the biggest corrupt thing ever. And we sit back and we fucking take it, you know. It's like the lobbyist system just started in the 50s, so it isn't part of our founding fathers or the great nation that it is, and it's actually going to destroy us. But you're going to hear more about that now when even the right takes the money. I mean, every fucking politician takes that money, so that's one thing we all need to stand up against, the fucking lobbyists. I could just go off on my own, but people say, well, what's wrong with kids like me or kids that are in society today that people are always talking about? What's wrong with them? And here it is. Here's the fucking burning bush. It's kids today and kids that ever since, and this gotta say this from even back in the 50s when the greasers were out. All the kids today are fucking horrible. Rock and roll is fucking gonna kill us all. And so you're always gonna hear it. But today's youth are a little bit more violent. They're probably always gonna be that way until something changes. But here's the problem is kids' egos are much stronger than their self-esteem is. That's the problem. You bring a kid in who has ghetto or not, you bring him in who is a wannabe thug, however he wants to be, and you sit him down and he says, fuck the world, I can do everything. You put a test down in front of him that he does not understand, but should understand. What's the first thing? Get that fucking test away from me. That's fucking stupid. I ain't doing that fucking test. His ego just stepped in and said, get out of the situation. You are not going to look smart in this situation. You are going to look dumb. Get out of it. His self-esteem is so low. But if it was equal, his self-esteem would say, well, let's fucking try and figure this out. Let's do this thing. See, so the difference is the ego is so huge that your self-esteem cannot grow. And for me, and I still have the problems, drugs addiction. I mean, I'm clean and sober, been clean and sober for a long time. But I call it my bad dog, good dog. Am I going to feed my bad dog or my good dog today? And I try to feed my good dog, and that is my self-esteem. So when we can start to eliminate that is when the kid will be more accepted to things. It's like a girl. If I'm dating a girl and she comes in and she says, oh, I say, come watch the hockey game with me. She goes, oh, I fucking hate that game. I said, well, we're fucking breaking up right now, and get out of my house, and I don't want to talk to you ever again. But the reason why she does is her ego just stepped in because, and I'll use another example, it might be better. You come into a room and all your friends are playing Monopoly, and by somehow you never played the game, you don't know how to play it, and they say, hey, we need another person, come play. What's the first thing, if you don't know how to play that game, and you know everyone else in that room knows how to play, you say, oh, that game's stupid, I hate that fucking game, I ain't gonna play that game, that game's fucking dumb. Stupid. Your ego just stepped in and said, get out of it, you're going to look stupid. Instead of saying, sorry guys, what's so funny is I don't know how to play this game. I've never played it before. You hate what you don't understand. That was like my last thing with the Jews. I never knew a Jew, so it was easier. So it's once you start leveling that out with kids, is the self-esteem and doing games and teaching new things. Hockey was a great thing because we get all these kids who never learned how to skate before. And before they're like, I ain't going to play that fucking game, I'm going to fall on my ass. And I'm like, yeah, that's why God gives you a bum bum. Because it's a much padding in your butt, and you fall and it's too far from your fucking brain to kill you. So you can fall on your ass, it's okay. But once your kid starts learning how to skate, that's it. Now they want to learn how to stick handle. Now they want to learn how to play the game. They don't, the first big thing is, I'm going to fall. And even in the kids that I coach now, my first thing is, most important thing is that you're going to fall. I mean, that's the most important thing. You're going to fall. But are you going to get back up? Or are you just going to quit on me? And I pound that home all the time. If you get back up is the most important part of this all. Okay? You build on their self-esteem. And then